Hi, welcome. I'm Tess Howsam, the Artistic Director of Culture Lab, LIC, and the co-curator of Unframing Gender from Pakistan and South Asia and America. My co-curator, Pomme Gohar, is currently in Pakistan, but we would love to give you a tour of our exhibition. Here we are. We start with a 3 series from Mariette Pathy Allen. These works are actually from the 70s and 80s. Mariette is renowned and celebrated as a champion of the transgender community. We move on to Reena Banerjee. Fabulous pieces here. You'll see that she has these sort of layering effects where she is bringing bodies into shapes that are perhaps grotesque, perhaps unexpected, and really questioning our beauty standards around gender identity. These pieces are on handmade paper along those lines of migration and map making. These sort of are building our own maps. Elsa is fantastic. She is playing with incorporating real animal bones into the works. And this image to me, when I first met her and saw the work, really evoked the idea of Adam and Eve and the creation story. Then we have the other animals being created out of that. And what does it mean and the gender play within that? Another American artist, Orestes Gonzalez, amazing work. Again, championing the duality that lives inside all of us. We felt it really captured the energy of the pride that one feels in when we dress ourselves in the way we want to be represented. Here is a work from Pakistan. It is also map-esque. There's a second part of it, but we couldn't bring it over. We only brought the one, but you can imagine how exciting this work is when you see it side by side. Jinistar is a Culture Lab regular. We love their work. These 3 pieces very actively discuss gender as a performance and the roles in which we put on to feel safe for our expectations, and perhaps how we become liberated when we take off the gender prescribed roles of society. Let's sneak into the side gallery. This is a work that also came over from Pakistan. It incorporates both the masculine image you can see behind the feminine image inside this piece. What the artist seems to be saying here is about how the male and female live in all of us, and that if we can embrace both our feminine and our masculine energy, we are the strongest, most holistic version of ourselves. Also, we have the traditional hijab, asking the viewer to question, is this restrictive? Is this freeing? Fariba is also an American-based artist. You have to get really close. They're small, but the intricacies of them and the attention to detail that she uses really set these works apart, and they're elegant and exquisite. On the big screen here, as a part of our projection series, we have this incredibly moving video. The work is a metaphor for the transition of the main performer. It's beautiful, it's poetic, and that gender is a form of expression, and it's rooted in our own truth. Here we have Jess's work. This is a beautiful piece celebrating feminine energy and sexuality, and she specifically talks about it as a bisexual woman. Gender roles and expectations in society often place this pressure to seek more traditional forms of love. And here we are seeing someone completely enamored and happy with who they are and at peace with the multiplicities inside each of us. Here, though, sort of the opposite side of the spectrum, Shirley Cruz is really looking at the hyper-femininity and the expectations that are placed within the roles of our gender. And in some cases, the frustration and anger that comes along with that. Jamie Owens, this piece is exquisite. It plays with the duality of strength and restriction. She's painted it in this dreamscape. She writes that it really is asking viewers to confront the paradoxical forces of feminine power and subjugation, asking how beauty can become bondage and freedom. Here is one of 2 Alexander Limpert pieces. This one is called Model. What I love about this is she's playing with the traditional dress form, uncovering this idea of the performativity of gender. Alexandra's work adds in a layer of the heaviness beyond this single frame of the model. There are these caverns and holes that fill the center. These two works are also brought over by my co-curator, Pomme, and they are abstracts. Zandra is really taking a zoomed out lens of expression around this gender concept. She writes that her work traces the tension through layered textures and raw constructs. She's building moments of chaos, of being boxed in, the violence of suppression, and quiet buildup of defiance. These three are all by the same artist, using found and discarded objects such as clothing, shoes, purses, and animal remnants. So there's a collage, assemblage quality to each of these three works around sexuality and femininity in the pieces. But this is a layered, incredibly delicate piece that came all the way from Pakistan. It's gold paper, it's thin, and it has these windows with Urdu text written on each of the panels. The layering reflects a relationship and a commitment to love, sacrifice. And while both partners seek love, security, and companionship, their emotional need and expression of love should be fluid. Our next Alexandra Limpert piece is called Germ. It's a piece of work that hasn't been seen for about a decade. It's remnant of femininity, of pregnancy. What does it mean to be a body that can create? These two companion pieces by the same artist also came all the way from Pakistan to join us here. Actually, if you were at our art opening, we had a performer wearing the mask, activated the work, talking to the head and in dialogue with the self. What does it mean to think of oneself as a woman or a man? And what restrictions then do we as individuals place upon ourselves? Coming here, we come to our three panels of this beautiful installation. I personally love this image. The vulnerability of this feminine character with the stretched center, it evokes a lot of emotions or the feeling of being stretched too thin, and does it relate to perhaps societal gender roles? This is the torso section. This artist is one of our up-and-coming stars. A really important part of this exhibition for both myself and Pomme was showcasing what we would consider master artists alongside the rising stars. This is one of those stars. Taking a South Asian expectation of femininity, reclined in resistance, shows a woman seated in a powerful, grounded posture, relaxed but unapologetically in control. Alejandro's work is building upon layers. He takes iconic pop images buried beneath the colors. His work is an excavation of sorts, digging deep in to find what is buried. This is another incredible work by an American artist. It is the nuclear family. There is something deliciously surreal in the work, playing with the expectation of a traditional family portrait and then removing the heads of the family members and instead replacing them with these hands. It questions the dynamics of family within gender roles. Sandra's work, look at this piece. This piece is called The Cockfight, and it's provocative. It brings up what happens when we allow our gender normalcy or these expectations to go too far. Here we see the poster image of what is toxic masculinity, encouragement of violence. Offsetting the cockfight, we have the Amazon at rest. Here we see the duality of both a warrior with her gun and her coat of arms. She's been fighting. She's still fighting in a skirt, so there's still this vulnerable fragility to her, but she's not done. She's not giving up. This piece was painted by the artist when Roe v. Wade was overturned. So there's a political potency to the work and the fight to continue. Here we have Tabinda's work. These also came from Pakistan. I love her layering effect here of identity and personality in this portraiture. Men and women are playing equal roles. Therefore, it is now liberated and a free society. One might make the argument that this could equally be a feminine character, and this could also be a masculine character. These are replicas of Mughal miniatures. There were the female quarters and the male quarters. These classically painted pieces and representations of what did those divisions in society look like. Mona's work, what's beautiful here is also the attention to detail. The piece feels like a tapestry, a painted tapestry that could almost be fabric. Is it protection? Is she crying? But there is this angel figure kind of holding up at the bottom. One of the pieces that I think really encapsulates the show beautifully is this very traditional classic work, also from South Asia, Pakistan, by Abdul Jabbar Gul. It's called The Ordinary Soul, and the artist writes about how the soul has no gender. It is a universal human that is beyond all dimensions and discriminations. And here we are ending our tour with a master artist. Sardakan was one of the master painters, artists of Pakistan. The historical importance of his work was that in this time, representing gender and these figures as these multiracial, multidimensional beings was incredibly nuanced. The pieces themselves do call out a duality. People are never just one thing, so asking people to identify just one form of identity is restrictive and not supportive of our society. A lasting quote from a Pakistani poet. Here we have the Urdu version and here in English. The evolving energy of the female and male brings the true essence of life. Thank you so much for coming on this tour with me today. Hopefully this allowed you a glimpse into unframing gender from South Asia and Pakistan and America. Thank you.